That touchdown at the end of Invincible, the one that brings the whole stadium to its feet, never happened. NFL rules in 1976 made it literally impossible. And that's just fact one. The love story was invented. The wife's note was real, but happened 5 years earlier. The actor playing Vince had never worn football pads in his life. And while he was filming this movie, Martin Scorsese was on the phone furious about his hair. 15 facts about Invincible. Let's go. Like and subscribe, it keeps this channel alive. Now let's get into it. Number 15.
I've always said that I'd much rather be an athlete than an actor. This is what I was able to pull off. This is where I was able to sneak.
The screenplay for Invincible was submitted to Disney and rejected. Then it was revised and resubmitted, rejected again. Producer Chad Oman has confirmed the script was pitched to the studio 3 separate times before they finally said yes. What changed their minds wasn't the writing, it was money. The late 90s wave of inspirational sports films had proven the genre could make serious box office returns, and Disney finally saw the opportunity they had passed on twice before. The script they greenlit was nearly identical to the one they had turned down. The story of a 30-year-old bartender with no college football experience walking onto an NFL roster had been sitting in Disney's rejection pile, unchanged, waiting for the right moment. Invincible went on to earn over $60 million domestically. The script they didn't want made them a lot of money.
Go and shoot Invincible, got my hair extensions, came back, and then they were like, oh, you got to take out the extensions. I was like, shit, took 8 hours. I'm not taking this out.
Number 14. In 2005, Mark Wahlberg was shooting 3 films back-to-back without a real break. 4 Brothers in Toronto, then The Departed in Boston, then he paused The Departed entirely to go to Philadelphia and shoot Invincible. To play the 1970s-era Vince Papale, he needed long, shaggy hair, so he got extensions put in. The process took 8 hours. When he came back to finish The Departed, Scorsese wanted Sergeant Dignam to look like a hard-nosed Boston cop. The extensions did not fit that brief. Wahlberg's response, as he told the Happy Sad Confused podcast in 2024, they were like, oh, you gotta take out the extensions. I was like, this took 8 hours. I'm not gonna take this out. So Scorsese had to live with it. The long hair Dignam sports in the second half of a Best Picture winning film, that's Mark Wahlberg's Vince Papale extensions. One Disney sports movie quietly altered the look of a Scorsese classic.
Get a taste for the pain?
Oh, man.
That's not pretty, is it?
No.
How'd those guys do that? They're getting hit by trucks and trains.
Number 13. Mark Wahlberg grew up in Dorchester, Boston, playing street football on concrete. He never played organized football, never wore shoulder pads, never wore a helmet. He told ESPN plainly, I had never put the pads on, or a helmet. The first time he suited up in real football gear was on the Franklin Field set in Philadelphia in front of a camera crew for a Disney movie. Football coordinator Mark Ellis, who had previously trained Lawrence Taylor and Jamie Foxx for Any Given Sunday, had to start from absolute zero with Wahlberg. No foundation, no muscle memory, no experience to build on. The result in the film is an actor who genuinely looks like someone learning to survive in a professional system that doesn't want him there. That wasn't entirely acting. Wahlberg was figuring out the equipment in real time. Number 12. The film is set at Veterans Stadium, the Eagles' home ground during Vince Papale's career. There was one problem. Veterans Stadium had been imploded on the 21st of March 2004. Production started in summer 2005. The building had been gone for over a year before a single camera rolled. The production solution was to shoot at Franklin Field at the University of Pennsylvania and use CGI to lay the vet's exterior over the top. It didn't entirely work. Attentive fans spotted Franklin Field's jogging track visible around the perimeter. Veterans Stadium never had one. The luxury boxes in certain shots were anachronistic. They didn't exist at the Vet in 1976. And the seating colors were wrong. The aerial establishing shots of Veterans Stadium are a digital recreation of a building that had been rubble for a year. Every time the camera pulls back to show the stadium exterior, you are watching a ghost.
Win in the NFL and defining Papale's style. He was absolutely crazy. He was going to throw his body around. He was going to bust the wedge. He was going to have a tough time getting out of bed.
Number 11. The moment the entire film builds toward Vince scooping up a fumbled punt and running it into the end zone as the crowd explodes is a fabrication. Under 1,976 NFL rules, a muffed punt could be recovered but could not legally be advanced. The play Vince made was real. He did recover a fumble on special teams against the New York Giants. The Eagles' offense then took the ball and scored on the subsequent drive. A different player scored the touchdown. It goes further. Vince Papale never scored a regular season NFL touchdown in his entire career. His only career reception was a 15-yard catch from Roman Gabriel in 1977. His only NFL touchdown came in a 1977 preseason game against the Patriots. Disney took a real special teams play, moved the score from the offense to Papale, and built the film's entire emotional climax around something the rules of the sport at the time made impossible. The crowd goes wild. The play never happened.
Chad!
Number 10. The scene where Vince comes home to find his apartment stripped bare and a note from his wife, "You will never amount to anything," is the film's most gutting moment, and it is based on a true event. Vince Papale's first wife, Sharon, really did leave him. She really did leave a note with words to that effect. The furniture was really gone. But it didn't happen in 1976 during his Eagles tryout week. It happened in 1971, 5 years earlier. By the time of the open tryout, Papale had already processed the divorce, moved on, and was about to marry his second wife. Disney compressed half a decade of his life into a single week because placing the devastation right before the tryout made it dramatically irresistible. The wound was real. The timing was a screenwriter's decision.
Alma led the Eagles to the championship in 1960 over Green Bay.
1960.
And who'd they beat to get there?
Number 9. The film's romantic plot centers on Vince meeting Janet at a bar in 1976, falling for a New York Giants fan, and having her in the stands for the big game. None of this happened in 1976. The real Janet Cantwell, the woman Vince Papale eventually married, didn't meet him until 1993, 17 years after the events of the film. She was also not a bartender and not a Giants fan. She was a member of the USA Gymnastics World Team. During the actual 1976 season, Papale was dating and would soon marry his second wife, Sandy. The film's love story, including the Giants rivalry angle, the bar meet-cute, and Janet in the stands for the home opener, was constructed by the screenwriter to give the film an emotional anchor. Elizabeth Banks earned an MTV Movie Award nomination for Best Kiss with Wahlberg. The kiss and the relationship it represented were both invented.
The original script did not have my dad written into it. And so Ericson, who was our director, and I talked to Gordon and Mark, Mark Chiard and Gordon Gray.
Number 8. When Vince Papale read the original Brad Gann screenplay, his father Frank was nowhere in it. Papale told ESPN, "I talked to Ericson, our director, and said, how could my dad not be in here? He was such an important part of everything. He was in the stands when I ran my 40-yard dash. He was at all my games. We were best friends." He pushed. The filmmakers listened. Frank Papale, played by Kevin Conway, was added to the script. The father-son scenes became some of the most quoted in the entire film. Wahlberg later told ESPN that those moments with Frank resonated personally because of his own relationship with his father. The warmth in those scenes, the specific bond between a working-class father and a son chasing something impossible, it was placed in the film because the real Vince Papale refused to let his dad be erased from his own story.
I was actually going to ask about that, where Vinny was in the scene. He was the little boy was you.
Yeah, that was an 8-year-old me. Yeah, and Gavin.
Number 7. The boy in the homemade number 83 jersey who runs in front of Wahlberg's car to chase a loose football is Vincent Papale Jr., the real Vince's 8-year-old son at the time of filming. The girl playing quarterback who throws him the ball is his daughter Gabriella. Both are credited in the film. The jersey number is real. 83 was the number Vince Papale wore for the Philadelphia Eagles from 1976 to 1978. Vinny Papale Jr. grew up and played wide receiver at the University of Delaware. In May 2020, he signed a 2-year contract with the Montreal Alouettes of the Canadian Football League. ESPN announced his signing the same week they re-aired Invincible. On a Zoom call with the Papale family, Wahlberg saw the news and said simply, "What's up, pro?" The 8-year-old who ran past Mark Wahlberg for a football in a Disney movie grew up to become a professional football player.
All of a sudden, as we were standing there with him coaching the guys, they're all taking a knee, he's doing his coach deal, he says, "And now Greg would like to say a few words."
Number 6. To prepare for the role of Dick Vermeil, Greg Kinnear shadowed the real coach during his final NFL season with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2005. He told MovieWeb, "He let me stalk him for a few days. I was just so mesmerized about how much goes into creating one of these teams. When I went to training camp, I went into his room, and he's in there with 7 grandkids crawling all over the couches, throwing spitballs at each other, and he's still watching film." Vermeil retired from coaching shortly after. Kinnear was one of the last outsiders to observe him in his natural professional habitat. The performance landed hard with the people closest to Vermeil. His son worked on the set for several days watching Kinnear work. He called his father afterward with his verdict, "Dad, he nailed you." He said it would feel scary to watch someone else being his father that accurately. Vermeil heard all this before he had seen a single frame of the film and admitted to ESPN that the thoroughness of Kinnear's preparation made him nervous to watch the finished movie.
Good speed. Nice, Vince. All right, let's go.
Number 5. Hidden in the cast of Invincible are 2 names nobody expects. Randy Couture, 6-time UFC champion and Hall of Famer, is credited as Tarusi player number 1, playing a member of the fictional team standing in for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The cameo came in summer 2005, the same year he suffered his first KO loss to Chuck Liddell. 4 years later, he would be starring alongside Sylvester Stallone in The Expendables. In this film, he is anonymously tackling Mark Wahlberg in a football jersey. On the other side of the stadium, Rick Riley is credited as a disgruntled fan. At the time of filming, Riley was the most decorated sports writer in America, voted National Sports Writer of the Year 11 times at Sports Illustrated. He was 4 years away from a $17 million ESPN contract. He took a one-scene cameo as a grumbling Eagles fan and earned his SAG card. A UFC champion and the king of American sports journalism both appear in a Disney football movie. Blink and miss, fully uncelebrated. Number 4. The cape-wearing fan stumbling through the tryout drills is Tony Luke Jr., born Anthony Lucidonio Jr., the founder of Tony Luke's, the legendary South Philadelphia cheesesteak chain. He was a lifelong Eagles fanatic who had hosted an Eagles fan television show in Philadelphia and was regularly appearing on the Travel Channel and Food Network, competing in cheesesteak battles with Bobby Flay. Disney found the most authentically obsessed Eagles fan in the city and cast him as the most authentically obsessed Eagles fan in the film. The Philadelphia Inquirer called it the scene-stealing performance of the movie, describing him as a strangely plausible representation of a mid-1970s Eagles fan who flies around the practice field like a superhero who doesn't know he can't fly. The role earned Tony Luke Jr. his SAG membership. The Always Sunny in Philadelphia writers watched this film a year later and built Charlie's iconic Greenman character directly off the visual of a cape-wearing, spandex-suited Eagles fan at an open tryout. Greenman exists because of Tony Luke Jr. in a cape. Number 3. Invincible was the directorial debut of Ericson Core. Before this, Core had spent a decade as one of Hollywood's most decorated cinematographers, shooting Payback, Daredevil, and The Fast and the Furious, for which he won the AFI Award for Cinematographer of the Year. When Disney gave him Invincible, Core made an unusual request. He wanted to also serve as his own director of photography. Disney agreed. The reason Invincible has the same desaturated, gritty visual texture as the original Fast and the Furious is that the same man designed both. Core operated both jobs simultaneously, directing the actors and personally operating the camera. A first-time director who had already won the industry's top cinematography award ran the entire production himself. He later went on to direct the 2015 Point Break remake and the 2019 Disney Plus film Togo, again serving as his own DP on both. Number 2. Elizabeth Banks attended the University of Pennsylvania, graduating magna cum laude in 1996 with a degree in communications. Franklin Field, the stadium used as the primary filming location for Invincible, is on Penn's campus. Banks was filming scenes at a stadium she had walked past every day as an undergraduate. She told Philadelphia Magazine in 2006 that she and her partner did the full tour during production. We went to the button, sat next to Ben Franklin. I loved going back there. She also revealed that her most memorable moment on the production was not working with Wahlberg. It was meeting two Philadelphia Eagles players, Donnie Jones and his roommate, at a cast dinner at Budokan. Her character Janet is fictional, her love story is invented, and her time in Philadelphia was compressed from 1993 to 1976. But the campus she was walking through every day for the shoot was genuinely hers.
Tell King we're a Philadelphia Eagle, and all I could hear in the background was Westinghouse going nuts. It's just a...
Number 1. In 2001, Vince Papale was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. Surgeons removed 18 inches of his colon. He went through treatment and eventually went into remission. 5 years later, he was standing on a Philadelphia film set watching Mark Wahlberg recreate the most defining moments of his life for a Disney production. In 2007, the year after the film released, he was awarded the Vince Lombardi Symbol of Caring Award by the Lombardi Cancer Foundation for his advocacy work in cancer awareness. Papale has spoken about the experience of watching Invincible with a specific kind of perspective that most biopic subjects never have. He told his Speakers Bureau, "Not often can a person see a film made about their own life's journey. What's even rarer is having that movie described as inspirational, motivational, and giving hope." The 30-year-old who walked onto an NFL roster in 1976, the 55-year-old who beat colon cancer in 2001, the 60-year-old who watched it all get turned into a Disney film in 2006. Same man. 3 impossible things. Disney only made the movie about one of them. 15 facts about Invincible. The touchdown that couldn't happen, the love story that was 17 years off, and the cancer survivor who watched himself become a Disney hero. If this changed how you watch the film, drop it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.